welcome to Health Curious Episode 8. Today, I'm speaking with Mr. Shaan, who is a health and fitness expert in the tri-state area. First off, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Okay, so my name is Shaan. I'm originally from Roselle, New Jersey. I am a former professional football player. I started out at Southern Connecticut State University, three-time All-American, conference MVP, all that other good stuff. I was picked up in 2000, free agency by the Cleveland Browns. So my hamstring in minicamp, then proceeded to play NFL Europe for 2 years, and Berlin and in Rhine. I was in Sweden also. I was in Finland, and then came back, did some arena ball. Traveled the world a little bit, saw the world through the game. Then I kind of looked for myself and thought that I wanted to get back. So spent 2, 3, 4 years maybe as a director of a group home for at-risk youth. Then from there, got into insurance, managed an insurance team as far as sales went. Did that for a couple of years, and then got back into training because I wanted to give back, but then wanted to stay connected to the game. We started working with youth athletes, some pro athletes, and opened my own spot, and had a gym for the last 8 years, 9 years. Wow. I have no idea. Yeah, it's been a while. So it's been a fun ride. So I've seen a lot of things and helped a lot of people. So I would say I've been leading a full life.
Yeah, very well rounded, I'd say.
Yes, I'd say.
All right, great. So to start, what has your experience been like dealing with doctor's appointments, hospital trips, healthcare related issues, etc.?
Okay. For me, I try to, I don't want to say avoid the doctors and the hospitals as much as I possibly can, but I do believe that help as well. I have been fortunate enough to stay on top of everything. So again, staying connected to the game, even when I was out of the game, and working with the at-risk youth and even in insurance, I still led those guys and those individuals in training, because that's how I grew up. And all I knew was working out and training and fitness and all that other stuff. So for me, other than checkups and that and physicals, I really haven't had too much experience with that. My daughters, though, I do make sure that they stay on top of their appointments and all that other good stuff. So, injuries, though, there were things when I was at the gym and tore my patella tendon and my Achilles, where I had to go to the doctor. And the crazy thing about that is a lot of doctors, in my experience, are quick to prescribe medication or I don't want to say that they misdiagnose, but it's always the extreme prior to the investigation of things. Mm-hmm. And it's scary because these are the people that we look to, right? These Exactly. are the people that we go to these doctors and we hold them in such high regard that when we go to them and they give us their word is gold, right? And when I had so many through my training career that people were like, oh, I can't come in because the doctor said I need to lay off of it. Well, that's not going to get it better. You need to investigate why these things have happened, whether it's a lumbar issue. And, I've had older individuals like, my sciatica is acting up. Well, let's investigate. It's either the joint above or the joint below. Let's look at the glutes. How are they reacting? How are your hamstrings? Are they tight? Like, let's look at the thoracic spine. What are you doing there? Like your immobility. You're sitting at the desk all day, so you're really compressing those hips. Have you done anything to open those hips up? So when you say that the doctor told me that I should rest, and you're sitting on that and compressing those hips even more, you're just making it worse. So in all honesty, I had a doctor who was a pediatrician. And she said, "Oh, my sciatica," and then but she trusted me enough to listen. And I'm like, "Hey, look, it's that, but it's more than likely it's the compression of those hips." And she was standing she does a lot of standing, as all doctors do, and she's standing on that one leg. And I'm like, "You're literally driving your body into that one hip. So it's not just sciatica, it's just that the compression that you have. And little tricks that I do as far as putting rubber bands on the wrist to pop your wrist to let you know that, hey, I have to stand balanced in order to take that pressure off of that hip. And she's like, I have my entire staff doing it. And like, she then was referring everybody to me, like anyone who had a little lumbar issue, had knee pain, because there are listen, pain is a signal to tell you that something is going on, something is wrong. And again, a lot of doctors prescribe medication or they say you need surgery without actually investigating. I have a friend who's a mechanic, and it's the same thing. When you go in, a lot of mechanics don't diagnose the car and what's going on, what made that, why is it running this way? It's okay. You gotta rebuild the entire engine. Well, actually, what's making this? What's causing this? Right. So, I feel as though a lot of doctors don't look at the root of the problem and try to throw a Band-Aid on it. So, and then that Band-Aid becomes, well, that the stickiness is worn off, so you got to get another Band-Aid, and that leads to more medication and more visits and everything else. So, like, the big pharma is real, right? That's a real thing. So, when you have big pharma coming in and saying, hey, let's try this out, and it gives you some temporary relief, you're like, oh, wow. Oh, I need more of that. Like, so yeah, it's very, very tricky. I would say that, in my experience, second, third, fourth, fifth, sometimes opinions matter. you know what I mean? You need to do your due diligence. Like, people do their due diligence when they go and they purchase a vehicle or they purchase a home, right? You don't go to that first home and say, oh, this is the one. Right? You look like 8, 9, 10, 20, sometimes different houses before you make that commitment. Why would you do anything less with your body? You only get one of those, right? So you should do your due diligence when it comes to, investigating what's going on with you.
And I completely agree, because some doctors treat the problem at hand, but not necessarily the underlying issues that cause the problem.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. And especially with what you were referencing before about people see the drug, it works, and then they want more. It also adds to the ongoing drug issue in America. It's just like a repeating cycle of like,
yes, ma'am.
Moving away from that a little bit, what medical experience, good or bad, has impacted you the most?
In all honesty, going back to what we call it full circle. My brother played at Syracuse, and going into his senior year, he was projected as a second, third round draft pick. And first game of his senior season in overtime, down at UNC, he tore his ACL. And you're thinking big Division I programs such as Syracuse, they would refer him to the top doctors, and the doctor did such a botched job on his knee that his career was, he was never the same. My brother's game was all about, he was 6'3", 245, graduating high school, ran a 4.4 40. Like, he was a monster, and that his game was athleticism, and that the job that was performed on him, it was such a botched job. But you put your trust in these individuals, and again, my parents, we didn't know any better. It's like, oh, well, he's Division I program, they're gonna give him the best care that we can get, like that money can buy, right? And it wasn't. It was such a botched job that, yeah, he missed the entire season, but it took him, oh man, 2, 3, 4 years to even feel, I would say 70%, and he had a great career after that. Again, the NFL Europe experience for him and arena ball for him, that's, those are experiences that a lot of people don't get, but it would have been so much more had we had the knowledge to, again, as I said before, go out and investigate these doctors and not just put your trust in that one doctor because this is who, the powers that be say you should deal with, so. Yeah. Again, I think that would probably be, and again, even in the moment, I didn't realize that. It was years and years after that. I'm like, wow, we should have done our due diligence and went out and found the best in the field to help him.
Yeah, like second, third, fourth opinions and stuff.
That matters. It matters.
Yeah. How would you say this experience with your brother impacted you in your health journey?
And once again, anything that goes wrong with Malia. Mm-hmm. She was pre-diabetic, and they wanted to put her on forget the name of the medication. And I refused. I'm like, no, we're not going to do that. It's like, well, if you don't, and she gets fit and she'll be happy. I say, well, you know what? This is on me. This is as a parent, this is my fault. Immediately following the doctor's visit, I had her mom and we had a conversation, and then she was on board. She's like, "Oh, if you got it, you got it." And she trusted me enough. And that same day, I went out. I threw everything away in the house, all that the box stuff, the sweets, all of that. And coming up, I didn't have much, so I prided myself on having a snack cabinet, which was full of every type of goodie you ever wanted. I threw all of that away. We went completely organic, green leafy vegetables, fruits, veggies with every meal. I didn't restrict her. I did allow her to have something, and the numbers completely flipped within a month. Yeah. Within a month, the numbers completely flipped, and it was through that I said, you know what, never again, because I'm privy to information with these doctors and know that a lot of them, not all, you're going to get a kickback from Big Pharma. There are incentives from Big Pharma to prescribe these medications. And we don't know the long-term effect of these things. So I'd be doing my children and myself a disservice if I didn't dot all my I's and cross all my T's before we absolutely had to do this. Mm-hmm. So that experience with Jamil was probably one of the greatest experiences. And I made a positive out of a huge negative situation. So.
All right. So what areas of growth, with all of this being said, do you think should be implemented?
Well, I think that, and I'm not sure if doctors are going to do this, so you have to kind of do this on your own. I think you need a team around you. Yeah. Right. I think that's going to be huge. You're gonna need a doctor. Yes. You're gonna need a general practitioner because you got to make sure all the bells and whistles are correct. But at the same time, you also need a nutritionist. You also need a trainer, if you're not going to be going and doing things on your own. When I say trainer, I take that back. You're going to need a coach. Trainers are the guys and girls that put you on that machine that you can sit on yourself and say, you're going to do this 10 times and count for you. You can't do it on your own, then I don't know what to tell you. You need someone who's going to look at you, know what your goals are, and investigate, where you're having issues with, where do you feel pain at, where are you weak at, where are you strength at, what do you do every day in life? Like, how can I keep you, I'm here with my mom on the weekends in Jersey, and yesterday she had a fall. She tripped and had a fall up the stairs, and my mom's 70 years old, and I'm like, oh my God, right? Mm-hmm. And it was so slow, and I didn't want to grab her and she fell right in front of me, but I didn't want to grab her because I know she couldn't handle it. So I'm kind of like holding her to kind of soften the blow. And as I'm watching her, I'm like, oh, she's gonna be fine. She has to put her leg down, but it's fine for me. It's easy for me because I train every day. And it's not so much that I'm training for football anymore. I'm training for life because we all have trips and falls and things like that. But when I trip, I catch myself because I'm doing a lot of unilateral work with strengthening the one leg on its own. So that way, if I am ever exposed to a fall, I'll be able to catch myself and stand upright and not, break a hip or sprain an ankle or anything like that because I'm so accustomed to it. So you need to get with a coach or a trainer who's going to investigate your life and enhance your quality of life. Mm-hmm. So you have your nutritionist, you have your trainer, and then you have your doctor. You should be going to your doctor just for checkups and oil changes at the end of the day, because you're already living the way that you're supposed to. Mm-hmm. And again, as I said, if you cross your own T's and dot your own I's, doctor visits should be very, very minimal.
And coming in with your own questions and...
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That was my interview with Mr. Shaan. He touched upon a lot of important subjects, but I think the most important takeaway was to be your own advocate. This theme really shone through his story about his brother's injury. I also thought his experiences when dealing with doctors and extreme diagnoses makes for an interesting point about getting second, third, fourth opinions when participating in something that could be potentially life-altering. Overall, I thought that this episode truly embodied the overarching goal of this podcast. Hearing him speak deeply moved me. Thank you, Mr. Shaan, for this profound interview. Thank you for listening to Health Curious. If you'd like to subscribe, you can do so on Spotify or YouTube. I hope you'll join me again soon.